Hello, hello everyone. So, how is everyone doing? I hope everybody is having a great Sunday. So let's wait for another 5 minutes. Let everyone join, and then we can start. So, today, my intention is to start from very basic. Like I had a lot of students where they wanted to understand the concept of color from the very beginning. So this will be like you can say it's like a class zero or class number one for for the beginners. So the first thing you need to understand is that you should start working with watercolor first. I was doing acrylic because few of my students wanted to learn acrylic, but now I understood that in this batch we have kids, and kids needs to work with they need to get used to watercolor first before you start working with acrylic. So I thought of working with watercolor again. Hi Smera, thanks for joining. So we'll be working with the very basic thing, which is watercolor. So let me show you what watercolor is best and you can use it. So watercolor basically comes in like two kinds. One is either you can go for tube colors, which is these kind of tube colors. You get a lot of brand is there like Camel or Fabicryl, and many other brands are there. I always use Camel and brush straw, and there are a lot many brands you will see for watercolor, but I use Camel. So you can use this basic color, and it's like 12 shades. So you can start with this set. This is the beginner set, and it's like this. Or you can also go for cake color, which is like again from a Camel brand. I think you must be seeing in most of my videos. I used to use that cake color. So cake color comes again in 24 shades. So that is also much easier to use when it comes to kids, because you get set of 24 colors. So lot many colors are already made. In case of this color, you need to make a lot of these are primary colors, and you need to make a lot more colors by mixing the colors, so that you will gradually learn how to mix and blend and how to make more shades of color. So now the first thing is to understand colors. So first thing is, like, whenever you use some color and whenever you mix it with water, in watercolor you need to understand how much water you have to mix, for blending a shade. Like a same watercolor can be used for a darker shade, can also be used for a lighter shade. In case of, that's the difference between actually watercolor and acrylic color. Like in acrylic color, if you want to make a shade lighter, we can mix white in it and can make it light. But in case of watercolor, you actually don't need white color. So basically, if you increase the amount of water in a color, the color will get thin and the shade will get lighter. So that's how we use watercolor. So in day one, I would like you all to, use one color, and I'll show you how to use it. Like we'll be using one color, and you will understand how to, make the color flow in a paper. So one sheet will be used for one single color. I will demonstrate one color, and like later at your home, you can try for other colors. So you need to see, if there are 12 colors you have, you should have 12 papers with you to understand the flow of color, and then you will understand that some colors is very easy. You need to mix a little of water in it and it just flows smoothly, and some of the colors it doesn't flow, you need to keep mixing water and then it flows. So let's start with the basic color, which will be the Persian blue. So let me do it first, and then you can see me how I am doing it, and then you can do it. So what I will do is I will take today I'm going to take let me take Persian blue. That's the darkest shade. So I will take Persian blue, and I will show you all the possible shades you can have with only this color by changing the amount of water in it. So we'll go like intense like shade as you've already seen my thumbnail. So in the thumbnail, if you see it, closely, you will see it's only one color, but it's darker at the top, and then gradually when I'm coming down, it's getting lighter. So that's how, like if you divide a paper, suppose this is a sheet, you can divide this paper. If this paper is like 100%, so it's like you can divide it like on 25, 25, 25, 25. So you can have four, four different shades of the same color. So that's how you are going to understand the flow. So I will now move my, camera to my canvas so that you can see. And here I am using a notepad, which is cotton pressed, and it's the and what the GSM of this paper is 200. So 200 GSM is actually best for watercolor. You can also go for handmade papers, but handmade paper is like it's used by artists, and when you are in like a advanced level of watercolor, then you should use handmade paper and all. Like right now, 200 GSM of a paper should be fine to begin with. So we'll start with our first, flow. So I will take Persian blue. I will put my camera to the canvas, a view, and you will also get later, a top view of the painting which I'm making, which you can later refer. So now I will start painting. Do not start painting now. Just see how I'm doing it. And once I complete, I'll wait for you all to do it. Okay. And then we'll do some, I'll show you the flow and then we'll do some more, changes in it. Okay. So now let's start with the class. I'll put my camera to the focused mode. I think it's visible. Okay. Just move this close. Move this here. I think it's visible. So I will take this color in a color palette. I'm using a plate here. You can also use a palette. So we'll take Persian blue. Now the most important thing in case of watercolor is to I will also use a flat brush because flat brush will be much easier to work with. So I'm taking a flat brush which is number 8. So this is my number 8. So the first thing you need to do is to moist the paper. Now, moistening the paper is like you have to take, decent amount of water. Don't take too much of water, otherwise, your paper is going to tear off if it is not of good quality. So take, gentle amount of water and then just wet it. Don't wet the entire paper right now. I have just used water in my 50% of the page because rest of the 50% I'll be doing, a little later because it will dry very quickly and I don't want to dry it. So for the 100%, we'll not mix water. We'll directly take the color, okay? And remember, 25%, right? We'll take this darker shade of color and put it here. Now, gradually, like when we come down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my brush thoroughly, and now I'm going to, take more water on my brush and now take the color. So it's already light now. So I will take the lighter shade of color, and in my next 50, I'm going to just blend this. Okay, so this becomes my 50%. Now for the rest 50, I'm going to again wet the paper. Okay. If you see already, my the last portion, last quarter is already, colorful. So we'll take more, color in it, darker shade, and put that back again here. Gradually, I will wet my brush and keep moving downward. I'm not mixing anything, I'm just coming down by lightening the color. And see, it will become very beautiful. Don't forget to wash your brush in between. I'm just blending it, from the top to the bottom. I'm just blending it, making sure I don't, I just wipe my brush in between. So now, if you see my paper now, so you will see the difference in the shade. So if you see the top portion, its top portion, I mean till here, the 25% is darker. And then gradually as I'm coming down, it's getting lighter, 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 lighter. And by the time I have reached my bottom, it's almost like a whitish shade. So this is how we go with the flow of color. So the same thing you need to do with all the colors. In your free time, you need to try out all the colors. And when you try all these colors, you will understand how much water you have to mix in order to make the color flow, or if you have to go for a darker shade or a lighter shade, how are you going to blend it. And remember, whenever we blend it, we always wipe our brush and wash our brush in between, so that it. And remember, another thing in watercolor is like, whenever you work with watercolor, you can work only by the time the paper is wet. Once the paper will dry, you will not be able to make any alteration in your painting. So you have to be very quick in watercolor. Like in acrylic, we need to wait, we need to give a lot of time for the canvas to dry, and only then you can paint. But in case of watercolor, you can immediately start making things on top of it, because it's paper and it really dries quickly. So let me just blend it another round. It's already blended, but I'm just making sure that it doesn't fade away, it looks better. I'm just painting it. So it's like a day one, and it's the most basic thing, because if you see this quick closely, you will not see any brush stroke, as like in between or some broken lines in it. So that's actually very important for you to understand, that the lines shouldn't break in between. It should just flow all together. There should not be any breakage in the lines. So the basic thing for painting is to understand how much water you're going to take, and it should not be like the lines should never be seen. It should always blend properly. So always make sure that whenever you do your brush stroke, it should go smooth. It should not be curved until unless you want the lines to be curved. Your brush should never go in a rounded in a round way. It should always be straight lines, because that's how the painting will look smooth. Like if you remember, like in school, whenever you use sketch pen, your teacher always says that you should paint only in one direction. You should not use multiple different kinds of stroke in the same painting. It doesn't look blended. So this is the first thing you need to understand. So now I would like you all to try this out, and by the time you do complete it, my paper will dry, and then we can draw something beautiful out of this. So don't think that the paper is going to just get wasted, because I'll be using 12 sheets, and in 12 sheets 12 colors and nothing, or like we are drawing nothing on top of it. That's nothing like that. We'll be drawing something on top of it. It's just for you to understand how the color is going to flow. It's very, very important to understand the flow of a color. So please don't skip this portion for any color, and try this out. Today I'll show you some 2 3 color flow. So try this Persian blue first, and we'll draw a very beautiful thing out of it. And let's wait another 10 minutes till then you can just paint. Try out the color. So just take the color in a brush, and let me show you the stroke like in between. So it's like if you take some any paper, like the stroke should be straight. If you're holding your brush, hold it from here and then just move it straight. Okay? And don't break the lines in between. Just take one stroke from here, and it should end from left to right, and then wash your brush and wipe it dry. Okay, then take another set of color and then do the second stroke, and that's how it's going to blend properly. And later you can, wash the entire brush, remove all the color, just keep it, light wet, and then just put the stroke straight, and it will come out very beautiful. Just try it out for the first color, and then we'll draw something beautiful on top of it. I hope everybody has watercolor which is in tube, like tube color. Or even if you have cake color, you can do the same. Like in the first time, you can, for the first darker shade, you can take the color, more color on your brush and less water. In the second, third layer, gradually start mixing more water in your, take more water in your brush, and that will gradually help you to, lighten the shade of the color. Hi, Arnav. Glad to have you here. And when this will dry, what are we going to make? So today I have planned to make, let me draw the first thing which I had already like shown you in the thumbnail. So let's draw that first, for which I will require black color. I will require white and yellow. So I'll take white color. I have white color. Generally, always remember that for watercolor, wherever you see white, an artist never uses white color, but instead they keep the space in the paper blank. So they do not color those portions where they want that white to appear. And that actually makes, look your watercolor painting more beautiful than, painting white on top of it, because painting white on top is like a technique which is used for poster color and acrylic color. It's not for watercolor. So watercolor we actually keep natural white, which is your paper white. So try that out. I think that's very easy one, so you can just try. It's just blending a color. So I hope my paper is almost dry. The benefit of watercolor is like sometime if you want to dry your paper, you can also use hair dryer of your mama to dry the paper. So, and if you know, take consistent amount of water, you actually it will dry quickly. It doesn't take that long for the paper to dry. Here I'm going to take black color. So what I will do now is, as my paper is dry, I'll mix black and Persian blue so that it gives a different shade of black. And I'm not mixing any water because I want I'm using it for lines and I want that line to be very consistent. So I'm not mixing water in it. I'm just making sure that the color is very thick because I need to make the lines and I don't want it to spread. So that's also another point, you should keep in like your mind, that whenever you have to draw lines or draw something, you have to make sure that there is no, like, there should not be much water in the color which you're mixing, because if there is too much of water, it's going to spread and spoil your painting. So I will take this dark thick, black. I'll start drawing lines. Let me draw the lines. So, it's just like drawing straight line. That will actually improve your, fine lines in the painting. Draw another one here. Okay. So I'll be drawing very cute, buds uh, in it. So I will just take white. So actually today you will learn a lot of thing out of this class. It's a very easy one. So you will know, one, you will learn the blending of color. Two, you will learn how to draw lines with the brush. Three, you will learn how to, put dots in the painting. So that these are the three very important strokes in any painting you need to understand and learn. So let me draw the for the bulb. I'm just going to draw small circles you need to make. Very small circles of white. It's a very initial kind of painting. You actually don't need any skill set for this. Gradually, each day we are going to learn and we are going to get, you know, our skill set improved. So gradually you'll see that you are able to draw good landscape and good portrait. Basically, I concentrate more on landscape because I believe if somebody is able to, make beautiful landscape, they will have good understanding of color and blending. So later you can, try your hands on portrait, because for portrait you also need to improve your sketch, because if your sketch is not good, you will not be able to do good in portrait because portrait is more about your sketch rather than color. So it's a very easy one. Wow. So now what I have done, I've just drawn three lines and few blobs of white, on top of which I'm going to just put small dots of lemon yellow, which is going to give a nice look of bull. I'm just going to, at the end I'm just going to put some white. Okay, so I'm doing this yellow bit only at the bottom. So if I bring this close, so only at the bottom side, I'm just half semicircle. You need to do it with yellow. The outline of the lower portion has to go in light yellow. Okay, like if this is my circle, let me bring it very close. So like this. Okay, that's how you're going to just give a nice finish to your bulb. So that will help you to understand how to move your brush round. So you'll understand how to roll your brush. Okay. You can just join it with a fine line. It will really look very beautiful. See, isn't this a very simple painting in watercolor, which helps you learn so many things now? So you got to learn how to blend the color. You got to know how to make straight lines out of the color, with the brush. So I've made two kind of lines here, the thick line, thin line, rounds, and then semicircle. So this will help you to learn a lot of things. See, And it's a very simple painting. And whenever you paint, make sure you cover the corners with a masking tape that you have already seen in my previous classes. I always say you all to use a masking tape. Masking tape is very important because that really gives a nice border to your painting, because the painting looks only good either when it is framed or if it has a nice border in it. So see, once I remove the masking tape, you will see how beautiful this looks. Similarly, I'll be showing you another simple painting with Persian blue also. Okay, now see how beautiful this is looking. It's a very simple painting. So similarly, you can try out other colors in your at your home, and you can understand the flow. So I will appreciate if you try all the colors and share the pictures of the shade which you have made, so that I can send you the corrections, like where you have missed the percentage of blending. Make sure that the paper in my paper, if you see, you don't see any broken line in the background. There's no broken line. Every line is like nicely blended. So that's what you need to understand. And if you try with 12 colors, by the end of 12 color, I'm sure that you'll learn how to make that color flow in a paper. And on top of every, every paper, you can draw some other figure on top of it, and it will look very beautiful. You just don't have to leave that paper blank. Like I drew a simple, line of lights here. So you can draw something on the other painting as well. Okay. What happens, Mera? You're not able to do it? Can you just type in where are you having a problem? Hi, Smera. You can just type in your query. I can answer you back. I'll show you another flow also today. So it's not the end of the class. So this is one thing I have shown you. You are going to try another set of 11 colors at your home, and you're going to send them to me so that I can make corrections on it. And I will show you another technique of blending, doing watercolor today. So let me take a few questions here. So is everyone with me? Did everyone try? Yes, no, you can just type in if you have done this or you're still doing it. Smera, no problem if you do not have all the materials right. If you don't have like materials available right now, you can try it later. You just have to sit and understand like how we are doing it. Like gradually, if once you are interested in doing it, you can start start your hands on it. You can try it and you can do it. There's nothing you can't do. You if you try anything new, you can do it. Yeah, see, now you're able to do. It's very, very easy. So this is just a beginner level, just to once until unless you dirty your hand with colors, you will never be able to love colors, and you will never be able to understand the beauty that a color can make. So this was the first thing. So just a basic stroke of painting. Day one, beginner, first stroke of painting. Okay, lines, thick lines, thin lines, circles, and the blending of color. Now I'll show you another technique of blending colors. Like like gradually when you will see, or if you have attended my classes before, my watercolor class, if you remember. So whenever we make sky, so sometimes you see the sky is blended like this. Like you will see a sky very sorted, a smooth shade of color. But generally, like in real life, We never see sky smooth and blue in a complete smooth sky. We never get to see like it always. So there is always like a different structure in sky. Sky is never smooth. It is very, you can go for any kind of flow for sky. It's never uniform. So, and later it's also not a one shade. We go and mix, like we generally mix two or three shades of color to make a sky a very beautiful one. So in those cases, you need to not move your brush straight, but you also need to blend your brush, move your brush in circular direction. So I'll show you how to move your brush in a circular direction in watercolor. So that's my second thing which I'm going to show you. So let me just like this. Okay. Now let's start again. So again, I'll be using my masking tape. So let's take another paper. We'll take our masking tape. Okay. This will be a very easy one. Don't forget to use a masking tape. It's very important. Okay. Now for this one, I'll ask you all to watch me first doing it, and then later you can try it. So let me put my paper this way because I wanted to put my paper in portrait mode. Hi Ashvi. So here in this painting, how I'm going to do. So in the previous one, if you remember, what I did in the previous one, I made sure that the paper was wet. And while making, there are two ways of working in watercolor. Like even when you wet the paper, there's a technique of wetting the paper. Like the area, like if you observe very carefully, like only on those portions where the paper is dry, the color will disperse. In the other portion where the paper is dry, the color will never flow to the dry portion of the paper until and unless you have taken too much water in your paper and in your brush, and it's flowing in the entire paper. So those things will also happen initially. But let me tell you that whenever we paint, we make sure the portion where we want our painting to be made, only those portion in the paper is made wet. Other portion of the paper we actually don't need to wet the paper. And also like if it like I don't know how much observant you are. Like when I was kid, and my cousins know it, I was very experimental with doing things at home. So I used to spill water and then water on the floor, and then I used to check how the water is flowing on a floor. So that's the same thing you need to understand. And if you like try that, I know your mom will get angry, but if you want to try something, I'll tell you, try this experiment at home. Take a glass of water, and that then spill it on the floor or floor at home, and then see how the water flows. And you will see the place where you actually throw the water, the amount of water is more, and gradually when the water flows towards the end, it actually ends somewhere and it gets narrower and narrower. It's the same thing with the painting. So if you take more water in your brush initially, so the portion where you have more water, the color will disperse more. And where you have less color, less water, the color will go and get stuck there. It's not going to flow beyond that wet area of the paper. So that's the second technique I'm going to show you. So in the first technique, when I was wetting my paper, I made sure that I used my brush, and my flow of my brush was like, if this was the paper, it was straight. Oh, sorry. It was just going straight. Okay. Now I will make blobs of water like the cloud, and then I'm going to put a few drops of color in that, and color is going to disperse. So you need to understand how the color disperses in case of watercolor. So that's a very important technique to understand in watercolor. So let me do that first, and you can observe it and do it later. Okay, so that's the second project we're going to do now. So let me quickly. Okay, now see, this is the paper. Okay, I hope it is visible. This is the paper. It's completely dry now. Okay. Now I'll make sure that I change my water because the water is dirty and I don't want my paper to look dirty. I'll quickly go and change the water. Okay. So I have fresh water now. So I will take, you know, water in my brush. So I have no color in my brush, it's just water. And then I'm just going to, make some circular structure in the paper. I'm not making, straight lines. See, my brush is just moving in a rounded way. Okay. Now I'm going to take, observe this portion very, closely. We'll see. Take Persian blue. And I will also try French ultramarine. French ultramarine is also a very good shade. I wanted to try it. Let me try that also. So I've taken French ultramarine and Persian blue. And see, in some portion of blue, and see how it's getting dispersed. See, it's getting dispersed, right? It's taking the same direction where my paper is wet. It's going to take the same direction. So I'm putting a few blobs of color here and there, and then I'm going to wash my brush, and then I'm going to pat it dry and make sure that there is no color in my brush, and then I'm going to gradually blend this. Now this time for blending, I'm just going to use it in a random manner because it's just a cloud. I don't want anything to be uniform. I just want a natural cloud. I'm just going to merge it in the portions where there is. If you add more water and then just mix it, you'll see as you gradually, if you go out, it's getting lighter and lighter. What I did here was I made sure that I placed the water when I was wetting the paper. I made sure there was no uniform, structure when I was adding water on the paper. And then I just took, random blobs of water and color, and then I just added it some places of the paper. I made sure that I washed my brush thoroughly. And in the second layer, I just took, uh, thank you, and I just took the brush without color, without water, and then I just blended it. And this time I wanted to give it like a formation of a sky. And sky, as I said, it naturally it's in a blob. It's very random. It's not very smooth. Like until unless you are going for a smooth sky, you can also go for a smooth sky. But naturally, it will look natural if if things are uneven, it looks more beautiful. So I made sure there's unevenness in my painting. So see, this is uneven blending of any color. So if you see, this portion of the paper is white. Now this is slightly blue and white, and gradually some patches you are seeing dark. But even at the dark places, if you see, it has merged properly, like it's coming from darker shade to the lighter shade. It's not just a patch of dark color here, it's just gradually diffusing in the paper. So that's what you need to understand in these kind of blending. So there are two kinds of blending first you need to learn. So one was a smooth blend, and second was which is uneven blending. So this is uneven blending. So this is known as uneven blending. So these kind of blending also we do in case of watercolor. So you can try this blending also, like one or two sheets of uneven blending also you can try. So that will make your hand perfect in blending the color. So these kind of unblending, color, you can also try with two different colors. If you mix it together, it really looks very beautiful. Like in my second class, like in my next class, I can show you. So you can make, if you have seen somewhere, or I can give you a nice demonstration. Maybe next week we can do that. Diffusing two colors together. So if you wet a paper and then take two colors and just put two blobs of two color and then let it diffuse, it really looks very beautiful when both the colors blends together. And it's a nice fusion, and those kind of thing is very popular if you can see in some bookmarks. So maybe I can plan next session for bookmarks, and you can make very beautiful bookmarks for for yourself, for your books, using that fusion technique. So fusion technique is also very easy, very simple, and it's very important because it takes a lot of technique. Because you might see that and you may feel that it's just putting two colors together, but it's actually to understand how to blend those two colors together, how to make the colors flow together, and only then it's going to come out beautifully. So try this, and I will wait till this dries because I'm just not going to leave this paper like this. I'm going to draw very beautiful, something very beautiful in this. So let me just quickly take. And also, like, if you're having some problem with the lines, you can take take plain paper, take black color, and then just start drawing lines with with the brush. And you gradually, you will see, if you draw some 50, 100 lines, your 100, by the 100 you reach 100 line, you will be perfect in making lines with the color. So that's how gradually, actually, I learned initially when I was a kid. So we were not, actually, when I was reading in a painting class, I was not made to, I was not like, I did not start painting a landscape on day one. Like, I think I spent almost like 5 6 months in just drawing lines and circles and triangles, and just blending the paper with one color. So that actually, that time I used to feel it's so boring just going there in the class and drawing lines, lines, lines. But actually, drawing those lines, circles, triangles actually makes perfect in your sketch or painting. You need to learn some basic things, and then you will get towards making some complicated painting. So let me just finish this. So how are we going to finish this? Let's make beautiful, as we have made string in the previous painting. So let's make another string here. Okay, so I will draw maybe a small string here. Mhm. And then let me just draw beautiful birds here. Maybe in this you can just draw a small string and two or three birds on the in the string, and it will look very beautiful. And you can, if you want to write something, you can take a pen and write some nice, quotes on top of it, and you can use it for decoration in your room. So this is the basic, thing which I hope you might have understood, and I hope this class was very, useful for you all to understand the painting. So, have you all completed the first painting? I would love to see how it came out. And don't forget to work with another 11 colors, because we just worked with Persian blue today. So try, I think, if not all color, let me tell you which colors you should actually try. You should try the flow of gambas. You should try ochre. You should try lemon yellow. And in yellow, you will see that lemon yellow is so different. You will require only less water and it will just flow. It will flow very smoothly compared to gambas or ochre yellow. So try at least these colors. Try lemon yellow, gambas, ochre yellow, burnt cedar brown. You can try vermilion red, crimson red, sap green, viridian. So these like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 colors. I will highly recommend that you should learn. Black you can skip, because black I don't think you need to understand the flow. I think black mostly is used for drawing lines and mixing with other colors. So black you can ignore. But try these colors and try cobalt blue also, because cobalt blue is also very important color of watercolor, because we use cobalt blue at many places. So these 10 colors actually you need to understand thoroughly. So try this 10 colors at home and send me the pictures, and I'll send you the corrections if needed. I hope you this was useful. And for my next class, uh, either I am also getting, a lot of requests for craft, or so I will try putting some craft class like next week. If not craft class, then I will go for, some bookmarks. As I said, that bookmarks are very easy to make, and we can make very beautiful, bookmarks, and that will actually that's actually going to, enhance your watercolor technique, because we are going to use very, simple, watercolor techniques to make them. So let's do it either bookmark, or we can, I think I should go for some voting. Which one should I go for, craft or bookmarks? So, anyways, I will decide it and I'll let you know by next Friday, so that we can be ready by Sunday. in my next class, and see you then. See you then in my next class. I hope everybody is enjoying your Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday. Keep painting, keep doing whatever you love doing. And also don't forget to study. So do study. And also if you're new to my channel and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon, and that's how you are going to stay tuned and you'll be updated with my any upcoming video and notifications. Thank you. See you in my next class. Thank you, Kush. Thank you, Smera. Thank you, Yashvi. Thank you, Arnav. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jagdish.